Welcome to the Beauties Podcast, where we talk about everything you need to know about women's sports. From the grassroots to the pros, we got it all. Today on the show, we talk about a big LPGA playoff win and the feeling of the hockey season that's upon us. Here are your hosts, Addie and Cowie.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Beauties Sports Desk. I am particularly excited about this episode because it's hockey season, baby. We are right into it. I'm hopped up. I know you're a little bit under the weather today, so I appreciate you being here. And you got me a beer?
Yeah, I did.
To add a little Flava Flav.
There's always a beer in the fridge here. Even when I don't feel the best, there's still cool beer in the fridge. There's still cold beer. So thank you for being here, even though I know you're feeling too great. But there's so many amazing things happening, but it's mainly exciting in the hockey world right now. Yep. So many things are popping up, and we knew that this was going to happen at the end of September. Rosters are being released. It's so fun. But before we get into all that, how are you doing? How you doing, bud? Good. Yeah, no.
Let's get real. Let's get real in the pod.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I've been spending a lot of time, as you know, back home because my sister and brother-in-law added two little twins to the mix.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah,
two little babies.
Yeah, being an auntie is super, super fun. And other than that, I'm excited too. I think even in your personal life and my personal life, like you can very much feel that hockey season has started again, right? Calendars are busy. I think I haven't really seen Ash on a weekend for like 4 weeks now. She was off, gallivanting this weekend there in Saskatoon. And so it's fun. I remember I have so many vivid memories of hockey season and the start of hockey season. And it's just so fun to watch these kids get excited about it again. So.
Oh yeah. Every year you kind of get to the end of the season, you're like, oh, I need a break.
Yeah.
And then it starts to the leaves start to fall and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Time to go again. And then one surprise. So for people who don't know, I'm coaching the AAA UA team Pembina Valley Hawks this year, a bunch of beauties. And the one thing I didn't know, because I'm a rookie, right? Yeah. Like I'm still learning, their traditions and what's going on there. We had an exhibition game today. Yeah. And the girls come on the ice. Huge horn, baby. They came running on the ice. I'm like, what?
That horn is that makes that building.
Oh, my goal, and I'm going to say this on the pod, and then I'm going to want to put it absolutely everywhere. Okay. I want to pack that barn constantly.
Yeah, you totally
constantly
can. And I think that's the unique thing of some of these more rural communities, and for you that specifically with Morden Winkler and the size of those communities and the local draw that you could have, I think it's very plausible for you to pack that barn.
I'm into it, and I got like the little kid jitters when the horn started to go off, and seeing the girls running on the ice. I'm like, oh my God, that's so amazing.
Were you looking for Chuck Braid?
I was looking for him. Normally he's up in the far right corner, and this was in the left, so it threw me off. But Chuck Braid,
oh boy,
he is one. For the people who don't know Chuck Braid, all he did was travel around with a horn.
Yeah, literally, and obnoxiously loud horn. It was like a train horn.
It needed to be hooked up to a compressor. Yeah.
No, it was something. That horn in Pembina Valley. If any of you haven't played at that rink, it is it does, if you're not expecting it, because it is motherfucking loud.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I was so jacked.
It's good to be when it's your home barn. Mm-hmm. If we get Ash on the pod someday, she would not love that horn so much.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Just the rub it in factor of, yeah, we know we got scored on. Woo!
It's so good.
Super good.
It was amazing. So it was a good day for the girls, and I was excited for them. But that horn, man, that got me right back into ready to go for hockey season.
When does season actually kick off?
Next Saturday for us, Interlake.
Okay, at home or away?
Home.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a little
home
stretch
banger.
Yeah?
Yeah. Interlake and then Central Plains.
Okay.
So I'm excited. It's going to be a good rep.
That is fun. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things too, as with the local spice. It'll be fun to get some of those young athletes on the podcast.
Oh,
As we
absolutely.
go out throughout the season, and just giving people some transparency to the quality of hockey and the quality of humans that are playing that hockey in this province specifically.
And I think, we always grew up hearing people come watch us or other people play and they go, oh, these girls are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're freaking so good and they're so talented.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
Why are we shocked?
Yeah. And, one of the things, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, and of reffing, right? So there needs to be an understanding of reffing when you're coaching or when you're reffing women's hockey over men's hockey. There is still hitting in women's hockey, and I can't wait to have a ref on to clarify this. There is still hitting in women's hockey, and I was so happy because our refs today let it go.
Yeah.
Let us play, and that was super fun. We had some big hits.
Yeah.
We got some big girls.
Yeah.
In the Hawks jerseys and other jerseys too, right? Like there are big, strong women in this league, and it's like they are there to compete.
Yeah.
And the rest today let it go. And I would really love to have that conversation to be had on this
100%.
podcast of what is actually by definition allowed in women's hockey and what is not, because I know, but I feel like there's a lot of people that still think girls can't,
makes a noise, it's got to be about
100%, any type of contact, hands are in the air, and it's just ridiculous, right? And so we had some big hits today. We had,
That's a tough, grindy game. You played Yellowhead?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so you got a farm strong
good,
country kids against one another. And Yellowhead has synonymously, for years, even when I grew up playing, they had some really tall, really big, solid kids.
Yeah.
So if you've got that in your program too, it'll be that'll be a fun one.
Barn burners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that piece. But as we even progress into hockey season, I think that what you were saying too about having girls, coaches, refs on the show.
Yep.
And we were also talking too about getting more mobile, being able to take this pod on the road. And I think that that's going to be really cool. We can get people right where they are and talk to them in the moment, which I think is going to be amazing.
I know. So we need to allow you, since you're going to live in the rink all winter long, we need to allow you to plug in some mics and talk to some people. And I agree. And I think it's a very unique opportunity that a lot of kids haven't been afforded, especially in, our more rural communities. Not a ton of media. And that's it's part of learning, as if you're pursuing elite athletics, it involves understanding how to talk about a game and how to talk about your opponents and your teammates and your coaches in that kind of spotlight. And so that goes far beyond just bringing content to people.
Well, and I think you even see that with one of the biggest topics when they talk about the World Juniors with the boys, right? Like they're like, this is a lot of hype and training.
Yeah.
You got to sit down and you got to be able to, handle a press conference.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Yeah.
For somebody to be like, hey, so the PK in the second period, you did this and blah, blah, blah against this person. What were your thoughts going through your head when you rotated your stick from left to right? It's like, whoa, I was just going with the flow, man.
I know. And as a fan of hockey, that's the moments where you have a little chuckle too, because it's the same common verbiage, right? We got to be hard on pucks. Got to get pucks deep. The same things that everyone just has in their little tickle trunk when they get interviewed. Got to go into the locker room and reset here, go into the next period,
we gotta
stay out of the box.
Solid 60 minutes here together.
Whatever those lines are, we can all hear them in our heads of things that you just repeat. And so it is the learning experience for them and an opportunity for them to get to be in front of a microphone and put their voices out into the world. And I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And there's so many, so when we think about where we even want to start with hockey, I'm honestly thinking that, we just skedaddle over to golf real quick because the golf tournament was huge, but we've got a lot of content to cover. It's going to be a hockey episode, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much, because it's been...
Well, it's that time of year too.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
golf. Man, this was unbelievable. Walmart NW Arkansas Championship goes down into a playoff between a woman that don't think I want to pronounce her name in trying to be sensitive.
Yeah, Athea Thitikul.
You did it. And Danielle Kang go into a playoff round. Danielle Kang. So Danielle Kang is coming off of an injury, and we were talking off air just about this very emotional press conference that she did, just talking about how physically demanding it is to be a part of the LPGA, and how it is just, it is like you couldn't even believe. So she's coming off injury, and that was one of the message she was trying to say back is like, if people could see how hard it is for elite athletes to get injured and work their way back, I think you'd be a lot less critical. She's like, I am up so early. I go to bed so late because I know how good the competition is in the LPGA, and I want to compete, and I want to compete hard, and I don't want this injury to hold me back. And she was getting pretty emotional, right? And then this woman goes into a playoff in the next tournament, like 17 under, eagles, the 18th hole to take it to a playoff, ends up in second, but still just the gutty performance of Danielle Kang was just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, and we need to talk, we talked about that in a few episodes, and I think it's just a message that we need to talk about. Remember we were talking about emotional versus physical injuries? And not, I think you have a level of appreciation if you've ever played competitive sports of what it takes to come back, but not a lot of us have sat in the chairs of professional athletes. You are competing with the top players in the world in your sport.
Right.
And so that return, it just amplified the level of work and honestly mental fortitude that it takes to commit to, because there's a lot of freaking hard, long days that would be super defeating for her. And we've seen there's been lots of athletes that have battled back. And as fans, I think we need to self-check once in a while of the standard that we hold them to.
Yeah.
Like, and again, whatever it is, turf toe and baseball players, and it can't be that bad. But you think about how much you stub your toe. And what do? Just laugh it off? Heck no.
No chance.
And so we hold them to such a high standard as professional athletes. I'm so glad I say it all the time, use your stage. And I think it's so important for her to highlight that journey for herself. And I think all things considered, forcing a playoff and getting second place is almost a victory for Danielle Kang.
I couldn't agree. It was literally everywhere because people could feel just the genuine of like, I am grinding right now. But when you were talking, it reminded me of this commercial that was in the Olympics, because everybody in the Olympics, when it's happening now, becomes an expert in all sports that they didn't care about the last 4 years. Yep. So there's a guy lying in bed, like eating chips, and he's watching a diving competition. I can't remember what commercial it was, but I was dying because he's eating chips, he's lying in bed, and this person goes up flawless, but there's like a little splash at the end. He's like, sloppy. It's like, get out of here.
We become uber critical of these people. Like, we lose the human factor sometimes.
Yeah, so. Stretching in bed, eating his ruffled chips. Oh, so sloppy. She just did like a triple like spin, whatever it is. I'm like, clearly I don't know swimming. Triple spin, back spin.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have such an appreciation for people who talk about the hard things. Like, I don't know what it really fuels my fire.
Yeah.
For people who do that. Like, I think part of it for me is growing up as a kid who was like, I had my own struggles with my own health, and you always look healthy.
Yeah.
And so you have to project, or you feel like you have to project. So I have such an admiration for people who battle through stuff and find success afterwards. Just because it like really resonates for me specifically. And I think the world needs it more.
I agree.
I honestly think we do.
Because it's like this, what they talk about, like the Instagram effect. Like everybody talks about how everything is so perfect and great and blah, blah, blah. And nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's life is like this, you know, everybody goes through struggles, and it's the people that are confident enough in who they are to admit their struggles and admit what's happening that people ultimately feel more connected to than the people that are like, quote unquote, Instagram happy all the time, you know?
Yeah, that reminds me, this is kind of off topic, but my Aunt Barb sent me a reel on Instagram today, and it was this SNL skit. And the guy, he's at a sports game, and the guy says, "Hey, you want a hot dog?" And he's like, "Oh, no, can't have Crohn's." And then he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And he's like, you know, it's for like your stomach. If I eat the wrong thing, I just shit a lot. And the guy's like, "Thanks." And his buddy's like, "Hey, next time just tell him like you don't want a hot dog." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just raising awareness here."
Yeah. I think I know exactly what that one that is.
And I thought, like, as funny as that is, because that is relatable very much for me, where I think sometimes I overshare, but the raise awareness thing, because it is important. So I so appreciate her for
doing that. That
getting
is
emotional
so funny.
and saying, like, you guys have no idea what work goes into this.
Oh,
Like, we don't understand what work goes into it when they're healthy. Let's be honest.
Oh,
we don't.
When they're healthy and they're quote unquote in their routines, it is still an absolute grind.
That's right. And so then take that to the next level of coming back from injury. Man.
Yeah. Nuts.
That's
And,
right.
Yeah. So good on her. That was some awesome. When she eagled on the 18th hole and then sellied with her caddy, like I was like, that's it. I'm good. I saw everything I need to.
Don't even care who wins this. Cheering for her, kinda, but don't even, like, that's the win, right?
Yeah, that's right. Cool. So another thing, if we're going to just debrief here for a second, have you been following the Aces victory tour?
A little bit, yeah. Wild. Yeah.
Baby.
That gives me FOMO quite a bit. I don't really get FOMO, but I got FOMO for that.
Yeah. For the people, Aces, Las Vegas Aces that just won the WNBA final.
It's such a
champions. Vibe. You're bang on that. Yeah. It is such a vibe.
Yeah.
And then all these people are saying this stuff about the WNBA, and then you look at what's going on with this team and they shut down Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah, I know.
Like, this was no little parade.
No, and I like when Kelsey Plum went on the mic and she's like, "Just so you know, Vegas, this is just the beginning." And I was like, yep, it's a mood. Like, I know, the level of arrogance I love. It's like, you are the best.
Such a big fan. Yep. You're the best. Own it. Live it.
Yeah.
I love every single second of it.
Line of cocky I love.
Yeah, but when we're talking about grind... all those women are already playing again.
I know. I saw that playing
all
against
those
Team
women
China.
are playing again. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. And not just playing, dominating. Yeah. Like, this has put a fuel in the basketball world fire like I've never seen. I've never seen. And then they're playing Team USA, Team Canada, and it's like, what the hell? They're all just absolutely crushing it. They're flying wherever they need to go to play basketball. Yeah. The vibe is unbelievable. I could not agree with you more. And just watching the celebrations, the excitement and everything around it. Michelle Sung sends me this a rapper that made a song about the WNBA finals, just like hyping up the Las Vegas Aces, like a professional rapper. It was unbelievable. And so I'm like, this is so cool.
Did she send it to you after she rubbed it in that you were wrong? Or?
You know what? She took the classy road on that. I think she left that up to you. She's like, Cowie will...
who's shocked by that? No one.
Nobody. She's like, Cowie will put in the work on that one for sure.
She'll rub it in.
And so it's like... And we got to go to a Bison game.
Yeah, I know.
Women's basketball starting up there too, so we got to get to a Bison game for sure.
And we got to have that 3-point contest like after she maybe like runs a few days of like intense somethings that she is involved in them. Catch her off guard.
Catch her off
guard. You look quite sweaty. Want to play?
Yeah. You look exhausted. We should go now. So yeah, like the grind, the drive after the WNBA finals and then going into the next, like we think we know, but we have no idea how hard that is. We have no idea how hard that is.
No,
it's incredible.
We don't. We have like some level of appreciation for how hard it is, but we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of traveling around lots, the PWHPA, baby.
Yeah, well, Jeff Merrick was pretty wrong.
Jeff Merrick, we're going to have to talk to that guy.
There is no league.
There is no league. So the Professional Women's Hockey Player Association has finally released rosters, which is fantastic. Yep. And they have also completely solidified the fact that there will not be a league starting in January. We did kind of speculate that was a bit rushed to say the least. We did kind of have a feeling, but we obviously wanted to be optimistic and hope that it did happen, because obviously why wouldn't we want that to happen? Yeah. And we want girls to make money. We wanted them to go make good money for a short period of time and then move on to whatever other hockey that they're playing. So we're really hopeful within that too.
And I think so in saying that they're not going to have a league, they have committed to having another Secret Dream Gap tour for this year.
Yep.
And like you said, they released the rosters. And the one thing I was really excited about when I saw the rosters, because last year, obviously, we missed all the Olympians.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited and looking forward to watching that level of hockey on a more regular basis this year again. And also in watching players that we haven't seen on Olympic rosters and how they compete with those, elite kind of players. So it'll be fun.
I think that this is a really good opportunity for so many different levels, because first and foremost, like you just said, there are players that are not from here on these rosters, and here meaning in North America. Yeah. One other thing that I thought was very well done is they have completely intermingled every national program.
So cool. I noticed that too.
So you've got, Laura Stacey, Jill Saulnier, Sarah Nurse, Kendall Coyne-Schofield, Amanda Kessel, Sarah Potomac, all on one roster.
Yeah, it is cool.
It is solidifying what it actually feels like to be a part of a national program and now back into what is going to be a professional league.
Yeah.
Because
exactly what we see in the men's hockey.
Right? The Olympics is the Olympics. The PWHPA is now teams. Yeah. It does not matter what region you're from, whatever the case may be. Team Adidas is Team Adidas, Team Harvey, Team Scotiabank, and Team Sonnet. And we have women from all over the world on these teams completely intermingled with one another.
I would like to know how these became. That's the one piece we missed. Did they get to draft this? Did they pick out of a hat?
Like how?
Like rock, paper, scissors? Or did someone just sit down and get to make this decision that these people would be on this team?
Yeah, I have no idea. But even when you're going through the different rosters, like to be able to see like all these women intermingled, like Hillary Knight and Breanne Jenner are now on the same team.
Yeah, I know. Super cool.
So sick. Yeah. Could you imagine if they're on the same line? Carolyn Prevost, and shout out to her because she is also a CrossFit athlete that competed in the CrossFit Games this year. Just an absolute beast.
Just to add, because she was probably bored of not having anything else to do.
Right. That's right. Just adding it onto her list. Intense training. Think how hard that is.
Oh yeah.
CrossFit training for the CrossFit Games. Holy moly.
Yeah.
But like it's
it'll be fun. So we had said, they are going back to Truro, Nova Scotia, which all things considered right now, in the fact that East Coast was hammered by a hurricane. It's like the universe in a way bringing some happiness back there.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Super, super cool. Going to Montreal, which there's always such an immense level of support for women's hockey in Montreal. So I think that's really cool. We'll be interested to see on what locations they add. they kind of had teased that there would be more hockey in this one than they had in the past. I think that's likely because they've got all of those Olympic rosters back and available.
That's right.
So a lot less of the movement. Last year we saw some movement between rosters when rosters got thin and things like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope that they do a decent job of making it viewable.
Yeah, very true. Because
that's really important.
We got Montreal up first, October 15th and 16th. So literally right around the corner.
Yeah.
Like we're right into the thick of it. And then Nova Scotia, November 4th and 6th. So it's going to be, I hope that it is. Like you saw that the PHF is signed with ESPN and stuff too. So it's going to be very easily accessible to watch the PHF this year, which is if you're American, because it's ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So you can, because
I can fake it till I make it now.
You can swindle your way through. But I was pretty excited when I saw these rostered for the fact of, like you're saying, we wish we knew how they came about, but it looks like they were in some way, shape, or form drafted.
I agree. It very much does.
It looks like they were somebody, like the group of coaches, whoever they are, because those have not been announced anywhere.
Yeah.
Sat in a room and said, okay, I want this line and I want this and I want this. And if there was debates or whatever, I don't know. But I think that would do really well. It would do better than I think people would expect. If you're putting on the PWHPA draft and you're saying we are going to be drafting from Olympic rosters, 150 athletes, pool of 150 athletes comprising of 6 national teams, top elite NCAA athletes.
Who wouldn't watch it?
Who wouldn't watch that? People love drafts. Yes. People love seeing, because then it creates conversation, then it creates debate, right? So like, why would you not have that everywhere?
I agreed. So that was a miss that I thought they didn't do. Where did these come from? It was just kind of this announcement that they're here. And then the one thing that I'll be interested to watch is that if they do a more substantial job of that secret cup, or what was it last year?
Scotiabank Cup. No, it was...
Remember at the end,
it was
like
a championship.
And if you won each showcase, you got a certain amount of points.
Yeah.
And then at the end, whoever the most points coming out of all of those showcases was the champion.
Yeah.
But no one knew about it. But no, we did. I didn't. Like, I guess they didn't. I felt like they didn't do a really solid job of, putting that information out there so that people are excited to watch because there is a competition within this competition, right?
Yeah, like it
makes it mean something.
Yeah,
instead of it
showcase,
feeling very exhibition style.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because it does feel, okay, we're going to these showcases. In any type of showcase, quote unquote, scenario, every coach would say, well, don't worry, these games don't mean anything. Yeah. It's just, but if at the end of the day you're like, but now this puts Team Sonnet in the standings here, or Scotiabank here, and then they need to win. So I feel like they have a lot of storylines and taglines and conversations that they don't utilize enough.
Yeah, and maybe that's all part of the strategy, and that they're trying to keep it quiet until they have everything together and ready to go ham.
Yeah. Have people like us just coming up with maybe they'll do this. Maybe they'll do this. Like, who knows, right?
Who knows? So, exciting times. The PHF continues to take some unique spins in there. We've got some exhibition games between PHF teams and some Division I hockey teams. But we can't find the scores anywhere.
We can't find the scores. So if anybody knows the score between the Boston Pride and the Northeastern Howlin' Huskies, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I would love to know, but we cannot find it anywhere.
Like,
and it's not...
I did a Twitter hunt. I did an Instagram
Yeah, and it's not on the Pride's...
No.
It's not on the Pride's website either. So it's, I hope in some way, shape, or form we'll be able to find it, because... Preseason is where you kind of see where teams are like lining up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see a Montreal Force exhibition game, a preseason game.
Agreed. And I would be very interested, like, in that Northeastern matchup. Like, so Boston Pride are the defending champions in the PHF, and how does that match up?
How's that stack? Yeah.
You know, and I think you hope that any of those games start to have more parity between them, but I would be very interested to see.
Yeah,
Does
totally.
a university roster of young pups, 20-year-olds, beat out, in most scenarios, retired from university now into professional hockey?
Yeah.
And they're anywhere from, let's call it 22 to 35 probably.
Yeah, definitely in that range for sure. And that's what I think, like, because if the PWHPA is pulling NCAA players into their pool too, like, it is interesting to see the PHF and the NCAA, how they line up with one another, right? Like,
it just makes me like kind of roll my eyes.
Yeah, I know.
Get our lives together.
I'm going to look one more time.
Okay.
I'm going to look for the maybe they just uploaded it again.
Yeah, because it happened at 3 p.m. and it's now like 10. So,
because I'm with you on that. I would really like to see how that actually plays out.
And it's just such a miss to me. Still, we've spoken about it, but it's such a miss to not put it on Twitter or Instagram. If it's this hard to find, if that's the first time that a Northeastern parent has heard about the PHF and they can't find it, it's such a miss to not have that score accessible in some way, shape, or form somewhere.
I could not agree with you more. It should be so, you don't want to say intertwined, but it's like you need to know. It's so easy to educate. I don't want to say educate because it sounds whatever, but like raise the awareness of what's going on, especially if you're going to make the efforts to go to an NCAA school and say, hey, we need preseason hockey. Let's play against one another. Well, shit, it should be everywhere. Put it out there.
I'm critical of Ashley's team. Like, this is U18 AAA in Manitoba, and I'm critical of, like, okay, I need more updates. When I'm not at the game, I don't want to know if the score is just 2-0 at the end of the period.
Yeah.
Like, what are the shots? What is this lopsided? Do we have a soft one? Were you on the penalty kill the whole period? I want to know.
And people love stats.
Yeah. I want to be able to feel like I am, like, at the game from my phone.
I agree. And, like, even when you go down into their Twitter feed, it just says about happy birthday, their re-signings, more signings, which is great. Don't get me wrong. We got to know who you're signing for sure. But it's like, what? It's like, why not take that awesome opportunity? And on Boston, you do have some alumni of some massive universities.
Huge.
A lot of these teams have alumni they've signed more NCAA athletes to the PHF this year than ever before. They should be woven together.
I know.
So,
yeah, it seems like a mess, but
maybe we'll get a couple of them on the pod
too.
What
do we know, really?
But yeah, like, what do we know?
That is something we do need to remind everyone. Is that it's just very much our thoughts and opinions a lot of time, and we're very open to the fact that you can think we are very wrong, because we may be. So
let us know.
If you have that feedback, we are open to that.
That's what I think too. And if there's anything that we're missing, just let us know, because I'm in. I just want to know more. Yeah. And so the season kicks off with the Whitecaps versus the Toronto Six, Connecticut Whales versus the Pride, and the Montreal Force taking on Buffalo Buttes in day one on November 5th.
Oh, wow. That's a late start.
That is a late start, which means we got a lot more preseason hockey to watch, hopefully. They are Northtown Center. Let's see where that is. Buffalo. So Buffalo's home game.
Away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for this year, like we mentioned before, just to have an entire full season of PHF hockey intermingled with PWHPA. And who knows, maybe this is a solid starting point of actually solidifying what would be hopefully two leagues. I I don't know. It's so...
I can't even pretend to guess anymore because every time I am wrong when we do guess. And I just think that, yeah, it feels still not very collective, and I think that's a struggle.
Yeah.
I do think that that is a struggle. When you look at, like, and not that I want to compare it, and I don't think they necessarily need to mirror what we've seen in men's hockey. But, you know, if you look at the NHL has the AHL, and then we've got the ECHL, like, it feeds.
Yeah.
Up the chain.
Yeah.
And there is no split, and it's not like, either I guess you go to Europe or you end up in one of those farm systems for an NHL club. Mm-hmm. This feels very divided. It feels like we're just causing more and more confusion for our female athletes that are involved in hockey of which way to go. And we've had that, you know, we think about what exists in the world now, and there's confusion of should I play boys, should I play girls? And now we're perpetuating a level of confusion once they're at a pro level is should I go to Europe? Should I play in the PWHPA? Should I play in the PHF? What is the right choice?
Yeah.
So
I'm
glad there's more hockey. I'm glad it's more accessible. I'm glad these women have places to play. Don't get me wrong. I do think that that's a significant improvement over what we've seen in the past. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I just think, like, we've talked about how do you put people at the table and collaborate and create a collective with one goal in mind. And maybe it's not possible. Maybe that's too naive of me to think that the world is that peaceful. Yeah. Which is probably very true.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it still feels very divisive and where the camps lie kind of.
Yeah, no, it does for sure. And you're bang on. And I think a lot of people would agree with that stay pretty in touch with women's hockey. And you're right. It would be cool to get a table of just human beings, because at the end of the day, it is a business still.
Yeah, of course.
But it would be cool to say, okay, let's all get around the table. Let's create a business structure and plan, and then put a 7-year-old girl at the end of that table and say, map out her journey and make it a business. Go. Yeah. Because it's about her.
Yeah. Yes.
It's about all the little youngins walking around rinks wanting to play hockey for their whole lives.
Yeah.
They should know where their dream goes. Well, they should know. They should have a path.
Yeah, and you think about some of these markets. So now if we compare, so if you're a little 7-year-old in a place like Montreal as an example, Team Harvey's is based out of Montreal, and so is Montreal Force. Mm-hmm. Who do you cheer for if you're 7? Mom, Dad, I don't know. I really want both jerseys, but it's not making it easy from any perspective, quite honestly.
No.
Mine is a 34-year-old fan or 7-year-old Sally.
Yeah, no, for sure. And parents of 7-year-old Sally. Yeah. Because that's what I always think. At the end of the day, it doesn't... The parents are going to do whatever they can for their kids to be a part of sport. Totally get that. Mm-hmm. But they also need to have education and a bit of understanding of what's going on like that. And we've had that conversation with basketball. Mm-hmm. People know the route to get to the WNBA. Yes. People know the route to get to the NWSL.
Yep, that's right.
Women's soccer, women's basketball, in my opinion, are by far the most progressive sports that...
Yeah, you know the path. It's very visible.
You know the path, right? And if I'm a young basketball player right now and I just got to witness what I got to witness, or a young soccer player right now that gets to watch as you're heading into the last months of the NWSL, what's happening there. Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah.
Like 90,000 people going to games. The last game was 23,000 people for a regular season San Diego game. And players like Chelsea Dunn are having babies, coming back before the end of the year. And not only that, getting a standing ovation of appreciation from the crowd. Yeah. What a positive thing to be looking for as a young athlete. And young female hockey players can look and say, holy man, that's good hockey, whatever. But their path is still not clear.
No. Like 0% clear.
Their path is still not clear as to how to get to point A to point B.
Yeah, and there's no process in place either. I mean, you can't process it without the path, I suppose. So I guess that would be the feedback is once we have the path, then process it out so that people know step by step what to do. Yeah,
in the ranking, like so. I think this year is going to be really telling, depending on how many, because I think the viewership for the PHF is going to go way up We also didn't mention that the Riveters just got a new home rink.
Yeah.
Their season starts on November 6th against Boston, and their rink is in a mall.
That's surprising for me, just from a pure quality of ice perspective.
It also does have a skylight.
Yeah.
I looked into it.
I could see in those photos of their presser.
Yeah.
And man, from the very short period of time that we coached in a mall with a skylight, and how very different the games were based on where the sun was in the sky, is it does impact the game. I mean, now that saying that, it impacts each team equally, but when it's your home rink and you're used to it, I guess there is the competitive advantage of knowing how to play in a mall.
In a mall, for sure.
But the stand, like, it's just, I guess you've got the layers. How do you ticket people?
Yeah, no, I have no idea how you ticket people. That's a very good question, because I don't know if there's sectioned off area. There must.
And everyone's got to go to the food court to get food and then come back to the thing. It just is weird. It's a weird, like, from sustainable like perspective of growing the sport.
Yeah.
And the viewership.
Yeah.
And you're not hanging a jumbotron from a skylight.
No.
So,
yeah.
You just lose a lot of that kind of atmosphere. I don't know how you ticket anyone. I don't know if they're allowed to then take over space within that mall where they have, like, you think about when you go to a professional game, you go to the store, the fan shop.
Yeah. Do they have a fan shop there?
You know, fan shop is on the lower concourse.
Yeah.
Next to Sephora when you get your makeup. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We're gonna have to ask, because we have the very unique perspective of actually coaching a team in a mall. So we have thought about all of these questions already, and then to see the Riveters sign on that deal to play in the mall. And they did say, and it is cool, you got people walking around that are gonna look over the glass and say, oh wow, there's a game going on right now.
For sure.
Like, pro games, you're gonna be able to reach a new audience of people just walking around the mall. But it's the retention of those people. How are you planning on getting those people back? If you're just watching a game and you stop and you're like, oh, well, that's cool, and then you leave, like, there should be some type of engagement to become more involved in what's actually happening in the mall. But you're right, the ticketing, the dressing rooms, the
viewership too. I think about it was alarming with 13-year-olds who can rip pucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure. For sure.
There's no end wall glass, and that is affects the game entire. Well, I shouldn't say there's no, but there's not enough.
Yeah, there's not
a fan safety perspective.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of questions on what that will look like for them all around, but hopefully it goes well. I do think there is the possibility, like, I remember hearing it when we were in the West Edmonton Mall, of people, you remember so Addie and I are very routine, and we went to Starbucks before every game.
You betcha.
And the lady at Starbucks was, by the end of the week, was saying, yeah, I know, it's so loud in here. People were coming up and saying, like, what is this?
Yeah.
So loud.
It's so
because a hockey rink and the atmosphere you create, the music is loud. That's
it's pumping.
Yeah, that's what is hockey.
Yeah.
In that environment. And for patrons of a mall, you may have the opposite effect of, like, no, I just wanted to come in here and get new jeans.
Yeah.
This is annoying.
Mall walkers.
So
no, for sure.
We'll see.
They did the presser on the ice, which was cool. They're excited. It's it's very,
I don't shit on them.
No. But the thing,
like, wow,
and I think the thing that's interesting is that we've done it, so we know, and now that's why those questions are so intriguing, is because, like, are they going to have a set time to manage where the sun is? Because when we had games at noon, but we also had games at 6, the ice was completely different in those two times. So if the Riveters are hosting a game, are they always going to try to have it at, say, when the sun is down, so it's less affected by the ice? But then what's the lighting like? There's so many very interesting questions when you look past, they're playing in a mall.
Yeah, and did they create them? Like, you think about the infrastructure of playing at a university level and having an arena and a home. I'm going to just throw this assumption out into the world that this rink was not created in this mall with a professional hockey team in mind. Do you have fitness facilities? Do you have training rooms? Do you have a place for you to warm up? For us, we had to go across the ice to get to bench. Like it just feels like, wow, I know how routine I was. How do you build routine in a mall?
Yeah. No, I could not agree more. It's like all those sacrifices you're making to be able to say it's a unique experience to be able to play in the mall, but you need all these fundamental things to run a pro hockey team.
Yeah. And
so it's like you're kind of juggling two sides of it.
Yeah. And you'd have to have some level of blocking, because as they grow awareness of their team and their league, there's going to be lots of little girls who show up early to watch, and you're sitting there taping your stick, you got headphones on, and you don't want to be the ass that doesn't want to engage with the 6-year-old or 7-year-old. But that's eliminated when we see pro hockey, when we think about men's pro hockey. The rink is closed for a period of time. The rink opens. At that point, players are tucked away, or the benches are so secluded that headphones on, I can be there, doesn't matter what's behind me. Very hard. From our experience in a mall, I find it very hard to believe that they can create any sort of barrier between the public and the players to allow them to build that pregame routine.
Yeah. Yeah. Very great point. We're going to have somebody on the show that we can chat about this with, because it's just fascinating from the perspective of we're both hockey people and really want to know.
Yeah.
You know, like we just want to know. We just want to know.
And like the weird thing is my gut is like, I'm excited for them. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But my hockey gut says,
oh, for sure.
No thanks.
Yeah. Because y'all know, like, if the best rinks are the old school rink, the cold,
ice is nice and hard.
Yeah, you're just crunching into
in the air. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting for sure, and I think it's going to create a different dynamic. And all those questions that we just had for the home team need to be available for the away team as well. You can't bring a pro team there and not give them a place to warm up.
Exactly.
Not give them a place to train, or an area in which they can do video.
Yeah.
An area in which they can do breakdown, unless they plan on doing that all at the hotel.
I don't know.
You know, so we've got questions.
Imagine being the guy who has to park the bus at the mall.
Oh,
it just sucks for them.
Yeah, that's a tough.
At least rinks they've built enough space. Like they're made for that. Parkades aren't made for a bus.
Yeah,
you're just gonna heel toe express your bag in the middle of winter to the rink.
Heel toe express. That's the best saying ever. Anytime anybody's walking to me now, I'm gonna be like, "What, heel toe expressing it around here, or what?"
Yeah, I say it all the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, we told you people it was going to be a hockey episode because we're excited. We're in the swing of it from every aspect, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your feedback on who you're excited to watch and who you're excited to be a fan of this year. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm going to encourage with my group of kids that I'm around as much. Like, let's be fans. Pick your team and let's be fans this year. Let's go all in. Yeah. So let us know who you're going to be a fan of this year.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I think I can't wait for the world to move directionally where we can have our at-home draft night.
Yeah, that's right.
Women's hockey, and I'm excited for the future of what that looks like. But I agree, it's a fun time of year, and hockey season, well, it's specifically for us, strikes a really personal chord. So it's fun to be back.
Absolutely. So in pure beauty's fashion, Cowie, final words.
Yeah, thank you again for being here. If this is your first episode of Beauty Sports, hopefully we didn't ramble too much outside of your wheelhouse, but make sure you come on back for future episodes. You can find us on Instagram at Beauty Sports Talk. You can find Addie at Addie Miles Abbott and me at Cowie14. Addie, my friend, it's a slice every week. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.